Hey there, funnel builders. Mike Killen here from Sell Your Service, and today I want to talk to you about massively increasing your proposal close rates and the single most important thing to include in your proposals to increase that close rate. We're going to be talking about what we call the next steps and call to action. This phase is so often overlooked, it's crazy to me that whenever I see proposals written by funnel builders, website designers, graphic designers, whatever it is, a proposal, no matter how thick or thin, they always, probably about 50 to 25% of them, it might even be more, completely neglect to include a call to action or next steps. The problem is that after we send the proposal, there's a bit of a grey area as to who's doing what, whether we should be calling the customer, whether they should be talking to us, whether who makes the first move. And there might be a little bit of hesitation on your behalf to kind of say, I don't want to be pushy, so I don't want to ask them for the sale. The mindset that you have to get yourself in is that customers don't know what to do after a proposal. It's not because they're dumb, it's because they haven't gone through this process necessarily with you. Even experienced businesses are looking for you to guide them through that process. Here's what typically happens. We write up a proposal. We'll then send it over to the customer. If you're anything like me, or if you follow my training, you know that I present the proposal live using usually Appear.in or Skype or Zoom or something, and we'll present the proposal live and then I'll send it over to them. What you have to remember is that the customer, absolutely by that point, if they're reading a proposal from you or if they're listening to the proposal stage, it probably means that they're interested in buying. People tend not to do it so much when they're at the tire kicker stage, and hopefully you've qualified them out enough to know whether they are serious about buying or not. Some proposals are very, very good and make a fantastic argument and even tip the customer over the edge to the point where they think, yes, I want to buy this, but they fail and don't close because there's no obvious next steps. It's not spelled out to the customer. It's not clear what it is that they need to do in order to complete that transaction. All too often we'll send it over, say, hey, have a read, let me know if you want to get started, and we take our hands off. Now that's way too soft in my approach. First of all, it doesn't really show that you want the work, that you're hungry for the work, that you're hungry for them as a customer. Secondly, what you're also doing is just showing that you aren't really sure how to engage on your own project. There's a huge misconception that customers want time to think about their proposals. No, they don't. Chances are that they're already at the stage that they'll want to buy by the time they've read your argument. The reality is that they will never be more interested than after they've read your proposal, like within a 15-minute window. So when you're giving that proposal to them, they're reading it, or if you're going through it live, which I highly recommend you do, if you're going through it with them, you need to make sure that you want to try and close them as soon as possible during that call. And the way you do that is by not giving them time, but by saying to them, when you want to get started, or we can get started, all we require is a signature and a deposit. All we require is a credit card deposit and your signature on the contract here. Some customers will use the objection of, yeah, I just want some time to think about it. Okay, not a problem. Sign here. Now, I have occasionally just turned that around and said, yep, not a problem, sign here. And they've gone, yeah, you're right. And they've signed it and they've given the deposit there and then. They don't want time to think about it. They feel they need to give a little bit of resistance in order to make it seem like you're not winning them over too easily. But if they're listening to the proposal, chances are they want to buy from you and they want help immediately. What I want you to do is think about a doctor. If you were to break your leg, you're sat in the hospital and the doctor comes in and says, okay, here's how we can fix your leg. Here's how we can put it in a cast, give you some painkillers, set the bone. Probably not in that order. It's probably painkillers, set the bone, put it in a cast. Although when I had a few broken bones, they had to set the bone first, then give me some painkillers, then put it in a cast, whatever they do. But if they tell you that's what you're going to do and you're going to be able to walk in 6 weeks and the pain's going to be gone and it's going to be better, you're not going to get any infections. And then if the doctor went, if you've got any questions, let me know and I'll be waiting outside. My question is, when can you start? Not, don't walk away. I need this now. I need you to fix this pain now. I don't care what it costs. Get rid of the broken leg. You need to treat your proposals like that diagnosis of the broken leg. Your job is to be in a hurry to help. That's a Grant Cardone phrase there. You're in a hurry to help. You're not pressuring them. This isn't the hard sell. You just know that your job is to help people and solve problems. You've given them the opportunity to solve this problem, so you need to get this in front of them. Don't ever leave any presentation or pitch with, if you have any questions. What you should be doing, and because If you do that, you'll struggle to close proposals and sales. I guarantee you. If you leave with, well, if you have any questions, let me know. Or if you have any questions, you can always reach me via email. If you have any questions, just reach me back. Or at the end when you go, so does anyone have any questions? The last words out of your mouth should be, in order for us to get started, we require a signature and a deposit. And it should be there in black and white on the paper, on the page, saying next steps, an entire page dedicated to it. Next steps, start this project. We require a 50% deposit and a signature on the contract. That's it. They need to know that for them to go, yeah, and include an invoice, include your bank details, include your Stripe details, include the payment page, include your PayPal details, whatever it takes for you to close the deal. They're never going to be more excited about it than when they are now. If they want time to think about it, all that's going to happen is they're going to cool down. If they say, oh, I need to share this with other people who are involved, why weren't they at the meeting? That's your fault for not getting the decision makers in the meeting at the time, in the call. You should be presenting to everyone who can make a decision, and you want to close them there and then. They don't want you to walk out the door without fixing their problem, but for some reason human beings have this weird misconception in their mind that they have to give some kind of resistance. So your job is to go, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Here, sign and give us a deposit. Even if they go, it's kind of expensive. Yeah, no, I agree. If you just sign here and give us a deposit, we can get started today. Them saying it's kind of expensive is not them saying no. It's not even them objecting. Now, some people kind of go around the block and they're like, oh, okay, so tell me how important price is to you. What kind of a question is that? Price is always going to be important. In my opinion, price is not an objection. Price is a problem. It's their problem. Yeah, it's expensive. Everything's fucking expensive. Sign here. Give me the deposit. There you go. Like, you still want to capitalize on their heat. Even if they're giving you objections or problems or negative signals, they're not saying no, but your job is to make it ludicrously plain and obvious what the next step is. That's incredibly important. Customers need direction on what to do next. They're looking to you for direction. They've read your script, they've listened to your pitch, they've listened to your presentation, they've read the proposal. They're on board. This is when they're on board. This is when they're most excited. This is the long-term advert or the sales pitch for whatever it is that you've bought in the past, and you feel, yeah, I really want to buy this. I want to get this now. And imagine Amazon's business model. They said, cool, if you really want to buy this, if you really want to get this, like, check out the tripod behind me, Manfrotto tripod. Imagine me thinking, yeah, I really want to buy this. That looks outstanding. I'm really excited about that. And then Amazon going, cool, or just give it 15 minutes and you'll be able to click buy now. What? I want it now, to the point where I'll happily pay extra to have it delivered to me tomorrow. So customers need direction on what to do next. So the last words out of your mouth and the last page on the proposal needs to be, in order to commence work, we require a 50% deposit and a signature on this contract. If you want me to start working today, right now, I just require a 50% deposit, which I can take via credit card payment, and a signature on this contract. For all you know, they might have wanted to buy at the start of the proposal. They're just listening as a formality to make sure that everything's checked off. We've had multiple customers say to us, I'm really glad you said let's go ahead and do this now. We wanted to buy at the start. We figured we'd listen to the pitch and the presentation because we're kind of excited. Can you imagine how much business you would lose if you just said, okay, good, any questions? And yet some customers might say, how do we get started? And you go, we have a proposal or whatever. We have a 50% deposit and a signed contract. I have even been in pitches where I've been coaching funnel builders and website designers, and the customer has said, how do we get started? And the funnel builder and the website designer, they've choked up and they've thought, well, just send us over your details and we'll get an invoice to you and we can get started. Bullshit. I would sit down and get my Stripe details out right there and then. I'd say, well, you can do it over PayPal. I build the form there and then to get the money from them and to sign that contract. You have to direct them and ask for the business. You have to say, in order to get started, I need to take a credit card payment or a deposit. I can do that right now if you want, and we can get started today, and a signature on the contract. You literally need to include the next steps written out after the investment page, and you have to keep reminding them what to do next. This is the final point. You have to keep reminding them what it is that they want to do next. If you answer an objection, for example, let's say that one of them says, okay, well, how long do you think before we'll start seeing results? And you go, do you know, that's a really good question. It'll be about 60 days before we start seeing regular increases in traffic and blah, 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 blah. And if you want us to get started today, I just require a deposit and the signature on the contract. You have to keep reminding them about those next steps. You have to keep bringing it back to that. Always be closing-ish. Like I said, objections when they go, wow, that's expensive. It's not your job to go, first of all, you never disagree, okay? You never ever disagree, you agree. You go, yeah, it is expensive. Everything's expensive. All I need to get started is a deposit and a signature. They need to voice things, right? They're like kind of like all customers like grumpy old men. They just need to feel like they're being heard and listened to. And if you go, yeah, I agree, everything's expensive. You know, it's a crazy economy out there at the moment. We just require a deposit and a signature. And if they keep pushing that, they go, we weren't really expecting to pay that much. Frankly, that's your fault, and this is getting into a whole other conversation. You want to turn those objections, answer those questions, but keep repeating in order to get started. Today, I just need a signature and a deposit. I'll even, occasionally, when people have said, I don't know, man, I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, I agree, it's pretty risky. Sign here. Like, I agree with them and hand them the piece of paper, and 99 times out of 100, they go, yeah, okay. Here, how can you take card payment? Stripe, not a problem. Get it done. Right? So the most important thing to include in your proposal, bar none, is the literal next steps for you to be able to close that deal. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. If you're new, hello. I recommend subscribing. At the moment, we've got our funnel niche training, or coaching, I should say. I'll link down below. It's weekly at the moment. What we're doing is helping people discover a niche for their marketing funnel business and then attract a paying client from that niche. We've had some great results already. People have had some amazing breakthroughs. Head over to sellyourservice.co.uk/blog if you want to read all of my written ramblings about all this kind of stuff. Share is kind of the big thing that we're going after at the moment. Thank you so much for everyone who's been doing that. Let me know in the comments below if adding a proposal kind of close or a call to action or a next steps is something that you know you've neglected, and maybe that little phrase, in order to get started right now, we just need a deposit and a signature. Maybe that's helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below, or if there's another phrase that you use to close your proposals and close your calls to action. In the meantime, I've probably got a couple of videos here. We've probably got one on how to write killer benefits, which is really important for your proposals and your pitches, and another one on how to price a marketing funnel proposal, which I think also comes with a link through to our proposal template. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm Mike from Sell Your Service. Keep building those funnels.